One of the interesting elements of the coronavirus outbreak has been the spread of misinformation and fear across Canadian society that was actually noted by an interviewer on the weekend. In fact, she asked me, how can Canadians be assured that they're getting the right information? And I think one way might be that the opposition doesn't sensationalize the risk to Canadians and allows Canadians to understand where they can find effective information.
People sometimes drive fear because they like to. Sometimes they drive fear because it might result in a profit. You can sell more masks, for example, if you create more fear.
In the beginnings, there was discussion of whether or not we should entirely close our borders to China the way the United States did. We did not, and we were able to manage it in a way that allowed for control and a non-spread of the virus that gives us confidence that our public health officials are giving us the right recommendations for Canada.
After the government received intelligence from our military about the dangers of the coronavirus in China, it allowed 2,000 people from the Hubei province, the most affected province, to come into Canada.
The long-term implications of shutting down borders is one, they're not very effective in controlling disease, as in fact, they're not effective at all.
With our plan to mobilize industry, we're helping companies retool, repurpose, and innovate to fight COVID-19. We've already signed letters of intent with a number of partners to produce up to 30,000 made-in-Canada ventilators.
Why did the opposition to play partisan politics in an unacceptable way instead of working with us? It's holding its hand out. It's still holding its hand. Our hand is still held out. Let's work together instead of partisan politics.
I want to review this failure and come up with a better path forward. We need to do that. That should be a non-partisan issue, but the Liberals are blocking the Health Committee. They're blocking everybody from being able to do this.
You know, we'd love to learn about the attached documents in it, but unfortunately, in what is to become a trend throughout this package, it's all the relevant information in the two documents are completely blacked out.
Today, I have asked the Governor-General to prorogue Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, the United States has been proving rapid testing for months. The European Union has been approving them since spring. Our European trade agreement actually requires us to deem the processes for medical investigation to be equivalent to the EU. But Germany, Italy, and the UK have been having tests for months while Canadians wait hours in line. When are Canadians finally going to receive rapid testing?
This morning, I also want to talk about where we are with testing. Rapid testing is key to keeping this virus under control, especially in schools, long-term care homes, and workplaces. Last Friday, this is something I spoke about with Dr. Janine McCready in Toronto. We all want to see cases go down. We know that these tests can make a difference. I think one of the things to remember is Canada no longer has any domestic production capacity for vaccines. We used to have it decades ago, but we no longer have it.
Evidence is continuing to emerge that Ottawa repeatedly turned down domestic offers for vaccine production. Nuvax approached the federal government in mid-2020, promising that they could be cranking 1 million doses out of their Montreal facility by December. The feds ignored them and decided to instead center all of Canada's vaccine production at an under-construction government facility that won't be completed until next year.
When a vaccine is ready, Canada will be too. Indeed, Canada is one of the countries around the world with the very best portfolio of potential vaccines.
I understand that people are frustrated and they're at home and they're not doing things that they normally do and they're not seeing their loved ones. But now is the time to double down, actually.
Small businesses. Your business has helped raise your family, created good middle-class jobs, and shaped your community. And your success will be key to getting millions of hardworking Canadians back to work right across our country. So I want you to know that we will always be there to support you, your businesses, and your workers. If you're receiving both OAS and GIS, you will get an additional $500 in total to help you. And today, I can confirm that you'll be getting that money the week of July 6th. The Canada Emergency Response Benefit was put in place in a way that we knew would maximize the speed with which it would reach the millions of Canadians that needed it. That's why we didn't put a tremendous amount of complicated checks and background checks and verifications up front.
And so a lot of people now are having to pay back the payments that they received, and they don't necessarily have the money to pay it back.
That there was confusion because of what was written in the Service Canada website. In fact, I went to Services Canada. Take a look what is on the website still. Third bullet point there. No distinction here when it comes to gross income, net income. Is it fair to then go back to Canadians, say, you know what, the thousands of dollars that helped you survive through 2020, we want that back before the end of the year?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's fair. I think the CRA should have made it very clear.
How many emergency response benefit checks have been sent to people whose applications have been flagged as fraudulent? The department is reported to have given out 200,000. So is the number 200,000 the correct number of checks that have been sent out to people whose applications have been red flagged as fraudulent? CBC is saying that prisoners are receiving the check. They can't have lost their job. They were already in prison. Simple question. How many prisoners have received the checks?
I don't want you to have to worry about what you may owe in taxes. That's why we're providing 1 year without interest on certain 2020 tax debt, giving people more flexibility to repay amounts owing from last year. If you received federal emergency benefits, like the CERB, and you made up to $75,000 in taxable income, you will not have to pay interest on 2020 tax debt until April of next year.